Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, Ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free, and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to our Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Update, located here at Port Mall, Scarborough. Of course, I am here as your favorite youth host. I'm taking that from doing until you see him later on. I am here as your favorite youth host to take you through your vibe and your vigor for the rest of the week. And of course, before we continue on, we'd like to go straight into our news in 90 seconds. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday 7th August 2024. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development has officially opened the Shervan-Storby Local Road Connector and Roundabout. The event honored local workers for their skill and dedication, with Managing Director Charles Cicheran recognizing their hard work. THA Chief Secretary Farley Augustine confirmed that no Trinidadian contractors were paid for the project. The roundabout was named after the late James Bigart and Dr. Jefferson Davidson, while a street was named after Pamela Nicholson, the first woman representative for Tobago in Parliament, who expressed her gratitude for the honor. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Morris, declared the 2024 Tobago Heritage Festival a success, emphasizing the participation of many returning communities and the festival's immersive experiences. The month-long event, a first in its 37-year history, operated on a minimal $4.9 million budget. Boris acknowledged criticisms but praised the planning team's efforts and highlighted the importance of community involvement. Progressive Democratic Patriots leader Watson Duke criticized Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and the Chief Secretary Farley Augustine for Tobago's crime situation, suggesting they should fire themselves. Duke specifically blamed Dr. Rowley, head of the National Security Council, and accused Augustine of failing to take action despite meeting with the council to address crime. He described both leaders as playboys and argued that the country needs real leaders who can effectively tackle crime. And that was your news in 90 seconds. Right, so we go straight into our birthdays this morning. Who do we have up first? First, we have Ian Lawrence. Good morning to Ian and happy birthday to you. And may God richly bless you throughout the course of the week. Now, I know Ian personally. He is a very good friend of mine and a good friend of my partner's. And we just want to express happy birthday to you and God's blessings. Next, we have Orlando Shane Lindo. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family, and I hope that you do enjoy the rest of your day. Next, we have Miss Kimberly Job. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. I love this picture. I really do hope that you do enjoy the rest of your day as it's your birthday today.
And the next, we have Ricky Jofield. Good morning and happy birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. I hope you do enjoy your 30th anniversary as well. This is anniversary greetings. Happy anniversary to you, Mr. and Mrs. Nancis. Wrong person. Ricky Jofield, sorry, happy birthday. I just got mixed up there. Happy birthday goes out to you. And who do we have next, Miss Nancis?
Well, I think we have another birthday. And this is our little princess Lavian from Laverne, Julian, and the entire family. So they send birthday greetings to you, little Lavian, and may God continue to bless you. They say that they love you very much, and we at Tobago Update extend our love as well.
So we just have one anniversary to celebrate this morning, and I'll leave this to Miss Nancis.
All right, so happy anniversary, happy 30th anniversary to my parents. Now, my mother and my father, this is normally their their demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
This is normally them, right? My father very smiley, and my mother is more of the serious one. So this picture, I use this one to just show their character on their special day. So happy 30th anniversary to my very loving parents.
I would ask you something offset, but not on air. But good morning to you guys. It's been a pleasure again. Being your host here on Tobago Updates, on the Tobago Updates morning show, and sharing with you, of course, Miss Nancis here on our Wednesday. Wednesdays is the smack middle of the week.
Yes, it is.
It's one of the best days because we are here. We are here to bring that youthful vibe.
That is true. So Dwayne, what is happening in this space?
Too much. The crime is beyond tolerable now, and no crime is tolerable. I think that I want to join with those who are putting a lot of pressure on the TTPS and even the powers that be, to come up with a more strategic and tactful and meaningful approach to crime. We can't approach crime using archaic means. We can't use very subtle, not subtle, I should say, but very weak means, I should say, if you want to have a better term.
I really think there should be more recognition in what is actually going on around us, because I think that the society itself is shifting.
Correct.
And some people just fail to see that shift. I wouldn't say that we are still the peaceful Tobago that we used to be, and I think people need to recognize that.
No, well, for me, I believe that we are peaceful. However, our nature is to be very tolerable as a tolerable island, and we need to stand up and be more than vociferous about our peace here. We are to maintain our peace, and crime fighting begins with the citizens, right? The citizens must be firstly law-abiding citizens, and then we also have the police and those other arms necessary to fight and maintain law and order on the island. For a long time, we heard a lot of complaints about the relationship with the citizenry and the police. We hear a lot about where emphasis ought to be placed when it comes to policing and police presence. And I think at this juncture, we just have to get a grip of it, right? Or else we're going to lose our island to a selected few who just want to be recalcitrant. If my father, using my father's big word, come on, it's high time. We have the technology, we have the theories, put the theories to test. Come on, I want to believe we have competent persons within the TTPS, and if we don't outsource them, it's that simple. Like, we spend the money to keep the place safe. However, in other news, we saw the opening of the Jeff Davison roundabout there down at Sherburne there, and I think it's a very laudable feat. Putting politics aside, I think that Tobago needs a lot more roads like these. Time is just ticking where development is concerned, and there's a correlation between roads and commerce.
Yes.
The more roads you have, the more access you have, is the more commerce, and it therefore encourages economic activity on the island. So we are looking forward to see the tangible benefits of having that road. I also hope that they use solar lighting for the street lights. Just say.
We can only hope.
We could only hope. But what are your thoughts, though?
I think one of the things I really do want to commend them on is the timely manner of preparing that area. They called a date that was, I believe it was the 6th of August, and they met that date. That roundabout looks fresh, it looks clean,
yes.
It just looks new, it has that new type of vibe. I really love the infrastructure and everything. It's really nice. And to the guy who, I think his son, he painted a poster saying my daddy is on this project, or my daddy works here, something like that.
I didn't see that.
They had posted it on social media.
I would have been a proud father.
Yes, I would have been, and
you'd have been a proud father too.
Well,
I'm just joking.
Proud parent. All right, but I just want to tell that young man that your daddy did excellent work along with his other co-workers, because the roundabout looks great.
Certainly.
Yes.
But guys, we want to give you the rundown this morning. We have a lot in store for you. There's 3 segments, and first we have polished a bridal special event expo, and we have Akela Springer, CEO of the organization, coming to talk with us, and Miss Nancy will be conducting that interview. Secondly, we have effects of crime escalation on our youth, and we have none other than CARICOM Youth Ambassador, Brother Luke Trim, and I say Brother Luke Trim with a purpose, and yours truly will be conducting that interview. And finally, we have DCI Worship and Warfare 5 incarnation. Wow, a sequel there. And then we have discussing that interview is Jasa Degains, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, founder of Divinely Commissioned International, and yours truly will be conducting that interview. That's all running for you this morning. And Natalia, what we had to tell them to do?
Share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
Said I'm falling, falling, I'm falling. As I lay in my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it. Carnival, come back to me, cause you know you're my healing.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, cause this is your show.
moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. I mean, the youthful vibe and vigor has started because we start with a very hot interview, a hot topic this morning. I mean, it's the wedding season. We can all agree with that. It's the wedding season. And of such, we are grateful to have in studio this morning Miss Akela Springer. She is the CEO of Polished. Welcome to you this morning, Akela.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
You could tell I'm a little bit nervous, but good. I'm good for now.
Now, I don't know why Akela is nervous, but let me be very honest. I know Akela outside of the bridal expo, you know, the professional Akela. I know the cool Akela. So I hope that you get that this morning as we talk about an expo, a bridal experience expo. So we'll get more into that as we go along. So let's hear a little bit about what inspired your startup of Polish.
Okay, so Polish was birthed out of my love for events, my love for creating, my love for art, my love for just events on a whole. I am very passionate, I'm very creative. So for me, it was just simple to go into the events industry. If anybody could tell you, I could throw a simple house party and people will be talking about it for years to come. So that is what birthed Polished. However, right now, since I just moved back to Tobago after 14 years of living in Trinidad.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's been about 6 months now I'm here. So I'm thinking this is the perfect time for me to introduce my business, Polished, Polish to Perfection Event Solutions, my business to Tobago. And the best way for me to do that was to do an expo where people can come and interact. I'll be able to meet the Tobago businesses, event businesses, meet clientele, build a working relationship with them. So for me, an expo was the best way to introduce my business to the Tobago space.
Right. So you're telling us about what the expo is about. You've already started telling us what it's about. So what exactly can we expect from the expo? Now, let me just mention to our viewers what the name of the expo is. Now, it is an expo, and not the expo, meaning that this is not the only expo you can expect from Polished, right? Of course, there will be more to come. Feel free to message Akela and talk to her about what you expect to see or what you would like to see in any upcoming event or wedding or anything like that of this sort, right? So the name of this event is Polished, a bridal and special events expo. So what is this about? She started telling us what it is about, so I'd like her to continue. Go ahead.
All right, no problem. So Polished, a bridal and special events expo, is not just a bridal expo. I just want to expound on that. It's not just a bridal expo, because every time I tell everybody, well, I'm having this expo, and it's a bridal and special events, like, but I'm not getting married. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. However, it's not just for brides, it's not just for engaged couples, it's for everybody, right? It's a meeting place for businesses, clientele, just event enthusiasts on a whole to come and engage, network with each other. They'll be able to gain clientele, book potential clients. You're also able to learn about the event industry and gain valuable insights on all the businesses that we have on display at the expo.
Okay, so you said it's not just for people getting married or people engaged.
Correct.
Just looking at the camera, it's not just for people who are getting married or people who are engaged. Just want to put that out there, right? So what can we expect, seeing that it's not just for bridal purposes, but what exactly can we expect? Like, who are the key speakers, the exhibitors? What sessions can we look forward to for the expo?
All right. So again, it's not just for people who are getting married. We are catering to everyone. If you are celebrating your birthday, if you have baby shower, bridal shower, if you have graduation, corporate events, again, it's for everyone, right? So our exhibitors, we have over 25 exhibitors on display. So we have a wide range of people. We have from photographers to event planners to decorators to bakers. We have everybody, bars, everybody on deck, right? You can expect sampling of their products. So if you want to taste their drinks, if you want to taste their cakes, their foods, we have everybody. You can do that. You can also listen to live entertainment. We have a fashion show as well. And most importantly, we have over 30 prizes to give away from
Wow.
our exhibitors. Again, over 30 prizes to give away from our exhibitors, from our sponsors. So it's big fun and engaging. Every hour we give away something, but not just every hour. We have little surprise giveaways throughout the event. So it's a fun and engaging time. You have be able to play a few games, win some prizes, you know, have fun. It's a fun, it's not a serious thing. It's a light, engaging kind of vibe.
No, I don't know about our viewers, but she said the most important thing is that there'll be some surprise giveaways,
Yes.
right? But what I heard is that I can get to eat. I can get to sample cake and drink
and foods.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the non-alcoholic beverages, those of my community that are looking at me. All right. So, I mean, whatever it is that Akila just mentioned to you, whether it be food, drink, or the giveaways, or the vendors that would be there, feel free to come and speak to her about, and contact her. We'll get on to that later on, but feel free to come to her and ask her about that information. Right. So, what is the date, time, and location of this event? I need to know where to go.
Let me tell you where to go. It's real simple. So it's at Lowlands Multipurpose Facility. Okay. Everybody know Lowlands Multipurpose Facility. It's right next to Wassa. Mm-hmm. We have ample parking. It's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our exhibitor showcase starts at 11 a.m. and the fashion show starts at 4 p.m. So you can come throughout the entire day. You don't have to stay for the entire thing, but if you don't stay for the entire thing, then you're going to be able to miss out on some of the prizes and giveaways. So you kind of want to stay for the entire
whole
thing.
It's giving whole day experience. It is.
Yeah, it's a whole day experience. Again, it's from this Sunday, from 11 o'clock. It's starting at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's at the Lowlands Multipurpose Facility.
Right. And Kayla said that everyone knows where this facility is. If you do not know, you can literally see it from the highway. Right? So we're taking right after the Orkenskio roundabout, we're taking that first left there and you will find that facility. Or if you need more information, as I said, please contact Akela. Right? So what kind of experience can the first time attendees expect? I mean, this is kind of new I wouldn't say the expo itself is new to the Tobago space, but from Polished, we expect this new experience. So what can first time attendees expect?
First time attendees can expect just fun. We're going to have fun. That's the basis of this entire thing. Just fun, a light, engaging show. Again, they'll be able to sample all the products that we have. So it's just you pay to enter. It's your entrance fee. You pay to enter, and there's no limit on how many things you can sample. If you want to sample the drinks, you can go ahead. If you want to sample the cakes, the desserts, the foods, you can go ahead. If you want to be on, I wouldn't say that. Let's leave that. Let's leave that for the day. But it's just going to be light, fun, and entertaining. You'll just be able to engage with people and network. And I think that's just the most important thing, that people come out and have fun.
All right. And what sets you apart from the other expos that Tobago Space has experienced? I mean, what sets your event apart and what sets Polished apart from the other bridal? Well, I mean, the other event planning people.
What sets this event apart, one, is just the fun, light, airy atmosphere. Because most expos, in my opinion, in my experience, have been a more rigid kind of, you come, you just look at the booth, you see what they have to offer, and then you leave. But we don't want you come, you see what they have to offer and you leave. We want you to come, engage, have fun, you network. You want to come and you say, nah, I'm not going now, let me stay for the whole thing. This is real fun. And I want you to, when you leave the event, you asking me, when is the next one? Because you just had so much fun at this event. So basically that's going to set this event apart, just the light, airy, fun atmosphere that we are bringing to the Tobago event space. What sets Polish apart? What can I say? Me. What sets Polish apart from the other experts? I'm not saying that everybody else has their own way of doing things, and my way of doing things is just the youthfulness, just the vibrance, the modernity, everything, the innovation. That's what sets Polish apart from all the other events.
And I'm being honest, I took a look at some of the events that she has done before, specifically, well, I won't mention the type of events, I won't do that, right? But I did, and they're really well done. The decor comes straight down. When I saw the comment section and everything, people commented and said that the event was well planned out and everything in that positive space. So this is your encouragement to be a part of this Bridal Expo on Sunday, August 11th.
Correct.
Starting at 11 a.m. at the Lowlands
Multi-purpose facility.
Thank you. All right. And where can we purchase tickets?
Okay, tickets are currently sold by Time to Wine. It's in Crump Point on Wolfernell's compound, but then you can also contact me if you want to meet with me and get tickets as well. So that's how we're doing tickets right now, just at Time to Wine, and also by calling and contacting the page, and you'll be able to get your tickets that way.
Is it possible for you to tell us the cost of those tickets?
Yeah, the cost of this for a single ticket, if it's just you alone, it's $150. For a single, and if it's a couple, it doesn't mean couple. Does not mean male and female. Couple just means two people. That couple ticket admits 2 persons. So it could be you and your girlfriend, me and you.
Yes,
you
of
know.
course.
And that cost is $275. So again, a single ticket is $150, and a couple ticket, again, permitting 2 people, is $275.
Okay, and how can people who are coming to the event gain the best experience? What can I do to navigate and gain the best?
So to me, to gain the best experience is just to come and speak to every single exhibitor that we have on display. If you speak to every single exhibitor we have on display, then you get the most out of experience. And sample everything. Everything tasting good. So sample everything, network as much as you can, speak to everybody. And also, I'm going to give you a hint. We have one of the little giveaways, is a little trivia. So once you speak to every exhibitor and you find out their information, you have a better chance of winning that special prize. It's a special prize. So yeah, just speak to everybody and sample, listen, and enjoy yourself. That's the most you can experience out of it.
I've put 2 things away in my mind. One is that I need to make space on Sunday for this event. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, when sometimes you taste it first and then you have to taste it again.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 or 3 samples, see what I can do with that. Tell Kelvon.
Yeah, don't worry. You could sample as much as you want.
Sample as much as you want.
All our exhibitors are pretty prepared, are very prepared for this expo on Sunday.
Right, that's good information for me to have. Right, so unfortunately, Akela, we're at the end of our interview, but I'd like you to give our viewers some additional information where your contacts, specifically your email address, etc. Where can we find more information on the Bridal Expo?
Sure. Again, it's not just a bridal expo.
Right.
It's a special events expo as well. It's not just for brides and couples. It's for everyone. As well, you can... Oh, I didn't mention one thing. What is the main thing that we think about when we talk about events? Budget, yes?
Yes.
So we also have
money.
a little, because we had to try to save as much as we can. So we have a short little educational session on budgeting and how to make the best of your budget while you throw in an event. And also, the best way to do that is by coming, getting the discounts and prices from the exhibitors, so you can cut back a little bit on your future event and the budget for that event. To be able to contact us, our phone number is 748-0335 or 474-8515. Our email address is polishedevents22@gmail.com. And you can see us on social media. At Instagram, it's polished_events_TT. And we're also on Facebook by the business name Polish to Perfection Event Solutions.
Right. Thank you so much, Akela, for being with us here this morning.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this little session.
I enjoyed you being here on our Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. So viewers, as we continue on, I encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Kingsway Ministries International presents Shiloh Fest 2024.
Demolishing Limitations, Building Destiny, from August 7th to 11th. Powerful ministers include Bishop David Ibellamy, Pastor Anthony Clark, Pastor Ayo Ajim, and host pastor Bishop Ayatunde Akindele.
Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I called you into something. I anointed you to be able to get some things done. But you must see it.
What God has already said yes to, He cannot turn around and say no to.
It is not that the weapons will not be formed. It is that the weapons, though are formed, they will not prosper.
God wants to take you to that level this year where you deal with the limitations and get the actual result that God has for you.
Shiloh Fest 2024 happens from August 7th to 11th at Victory Outreach Church, Scarborough, Tobago. For more information, contact 391-0078 or 354-8654. Shiloh Fest 2024. Demolishing Limitations, Building Destiny. See you at Shiloh Fest.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books, and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Pam Star Promotions and Charns Bookstores are happy to bring the 2024 New Wave Maths Championships to Lowlands Mall, 8th to 10th August. Participants must be between ages 9 to 12 years. Lots of prizes to be won. To register, call 471-2604. For the best prices on school books, WhatsApp 471-2604 or 371-4824. 3 lucky students will win their book list for free.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. It's a pleasure to have you guys back here this morning with us. And this morning we want to take it up a notch in praise and worship, and we have to discuss DCI Worship and Warfare 5. Miss Jesha Digans, good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning. I hope I didn't butcher your lovely name. I have never heard the name Jesha. And neither the Gans, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
All right, so just for the viewers and like myself who may not know, just tell us about yourself and what is it you're doing.
Well, again, my name is Jesha Digans, and I am the founder of Divinely Commissioned International. Basically, we are a non-profit organization of Christian young people across Trinidad and Tobago. So that's it in a nutshell.
Oh, all right. So when did you found this organization, and why did you found the organization? Is church not enough? I know within in every church sect they have their own incarnation of youth groups and so on. Why did you form this group?
So this group was actually formed in October 2020. So we will be celebrating 4 years in October this year. And it actually did not set out to be a non-profit organization, if I'm being so honest. In the COVID-19 pandemic, which was in 2020, a lot of young people were searching for God. A lot of young people were concerned about what was happening in our nation. And, persons were dying from the pandemic. So I decided, let me just start an online platform whereby persons persons have another option. So yes, I always encourage the persons of the group, go to your church, go to your youth group, but you have another support system. And the great thing about DCI is that we are not confined to religion. So it's not like, okay, we are only persons of a particular religion. We are young people across different Christian religions in Trinidad and Tobago.
That's really good. You, they say out of adversity brings a lot of opportunities, and you know, certainly listening to you, it kind of gives that kind of hope, and you know, I'm very much pleased to hear that you have done that. But what are some of the things you guys have done over the years to kind of foster that youthful Christian energy? You know, as you would understand, we live in a time where that whole notion of being a Christian is uncouth, is uncool. You know, it's kind of slipping away from a lot of us, and we've seen the evidence of it. What are some of the things that your organization would have done to kind of help mitigate against those things?
So first of all, in order to help people, we have to strengthen ourselves. So we meet at least twice per week where we pray together. Sometimes we engage in Bible studies together, right? And we go out and we do certain activities. So annually we do a homeless distribution drive. That is where we cook food out of our own pockets, because again, we are a non-profit organization. So we cook food and we distribute to the homeless persons in Scarborough. We would have done a stationery drive last year where we distributed stationery items for students who were going back to school, who, you know, they didn't have all the resources. We would have done a distribution of hamper initiative to several families, including one who would have lost their house due to a fire. So we would have done several activities, but Worship and Warfare is one of our staple events because to us, it's a youth conference, and also we allow for a concert because, you know, it's a time where persons get to praise and worship God. That's one of our staple activities. And as you see, it has been in existence for 5 years, which means that each and every year we see the impact, the positive impact that it has on the young people in Tobago and even Trinidad, because persons from Trinidad say, hey, I have to come up for this event.
Lovely, lovely. I'm seeing on your flyer here Donald Job, Apostle Josan Albi Dyer, and I'm seeing Chantal Lindsay. Who are these persons in this thing? Just tell us about their role and function. If just give us a sneak peek. If they're, you know, singers, or, you know, what are they adding to the event?
Yes, so Chantal Lindsay and Donald Job are two gospel artists. I am sure that they are well known in the Tobago space because of their valuable contributions to the gospel industry. So they will be there to just usher persons into a time of praise and worship. And of course, even when there's a rich atmosphere of praise and worship, prayer is still very important. So we have Apostle Josan Alabi Dyer, who would be leading in a time of prayer and even sharing a short word of encouragement to the persons who are going to be in attendance.
Really, that's really good. I have a few more questions for you in relation to this event. Do you believe that an event like this, for such a time like this, would garner the impact, you know, that would redound to some significant change, especially in Tobago, where we are facing so many externalities as it pertains to crime, etc., economic mishaps, and so on. So, do you believe that this would augur well for what is currently happening on our island?
Yes, Dwayne, I definitely believe that this would augur well because this is an event to bring hope. This is not an event for persons who may be listening. They might think, oh my gosh, persons trying to push Christianity in my face. No, it is not that type of event. Let me dispel that notion one time. This is an event to bring hope to our island of Tobago. We are seeing what is happening right now in terms of a rise in crime, as you specifically said. But apart from that, young persons face issues almost every day. Some people face childhood trauma, some people face different things, right? And this is an event to bring hope to you, no matter what you are facing, no matter what you are going through. This is an event where you could come and just be free to worship, to get prayer, to get an encouraging word, even to get counseling and advice. So this is an event to bring hope to you, no matter what you are facing.
Good. And my next question is, you mentioned that this would be more of a praise and worship. And I just want
Yes.
to emphasize on praise for a little bit because I think people have a false or a very shallow definition of what praise is. My belief is that praise is a love language. It's used not only when things are good, but it's that mechanism to help buoy you up and let God know that, I'm still here and I'm still connected. Just share your thoughts about it, and just to highlight and share with our viewers, why is it so important to praise?
So I would answer this question by using a specific example from last year because, as I mentioned, this has been in existence for 5 years. So last year, while the praise and worship segment was happening, you were literally seeing persons walking to the altar. They were leaving their seats. This is a big event, right? Persons were leaving their seats, walking to the altar, just kneeling at the altar. During the event, you would hear persons just crying out and screaming. Nobody touched them, nobody went by them, nobody even laid hands to pray on them. But because the atmosphere was so rich and was so full of praise, persons were just literally laying all of their feelings, their emotions, their challenges, their shortcomings just in front of God. Basically, just laying it all in front of Him and saying, God, I surrender. God, you just take control of my life. So it just shows, even we have practical examples, as I said, it just shows that praise and worship is so important. You don't have to come, you don't have to have any reservations to come. Listen to me. Just come. It's free, free, free.
It's free. That,
Yes, it is.
wow, that's free. So you mentioned that it's free. You highlighted some of the persons that are going to be there. Just tell us where this event is going to be taking place, and just remind the viewers and tell the viewers, when the event is likely to take place.
So this event is taking place this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Calvary Road Deliverance Tabernacle. That is at Bonaccord, 4 Roads Bonaccord. So we are looking forward to seeing each and every one of you 6 p.m. this Sunday, the 11th of August at the Calvary Road Deliverance Tabernacle. You don't want to miss this.
Certainly, certainly. And do you have a Facebook page or any social media handles for your organization for those who might want to join and possibly contribute to the cause that you guys are championing at this point in time?
Yes, we have an Instagram page. The Instagram handle is divinely.co.intl. Again, that is divinely divinely.co.intl. Or you can send me a WhatsApp message at 483-1911.
No, all right, all right. So, we have just about a short time here. What is next after this event? I think the you would say the atmosphere is ripe for a lot more initiatives like this, and for organizations like yours to breathe into the space hope, as you would have mentioned before. What is next after this event?
Well, honestly, Dwayne, we have a lot in store, some of which I cannot disclose just yet. But trust me, once persons start following the Instagram page, they will be updated. As I said, we don't just do youth-centered events, but we do a lot of stuff as well outside of the space in terms of helping persons who are less privileged. So persons can definitely look out for more information on our Instagram page.
Very good, very good, very good. So, any parting words for us before we unfortunately wrap up this interview?
Well, first of all, Dwayne, I hope that you will be there on a Sunday. So that's my first thing. I'm extending a special invitation to you and the entire Tobago Updates crew to be a part of it. And my parting words to everybody listening is that even if you may feel like you have no hope, even if you may feel like you may be pushed in a corner or just in a helpless situation, you can come to worship and warfare. You don't even have to be a Christian. You don't even have to believe in God more so. But if you just feel like I just need to be a part of something great, something that could challenge me, something that could push me, something where I could just experience a great and rich presence of God, you need to be at worship and warfare.
All right, all right. I just have one more question, right? I have one more question, right? And don't beat me down for it. Are there anything
No
free?
problem.
Are we getting things free to eat?
Well, you will have to come and see. That's all I'll say. Come and see.
All right, guys, you would have heard it. For you to come and get something free, for you to get something free to eat, you have to go, right? So this is a commitment from Jaysha that there are going to be things free to eat, but you have to come. Is that, am I hearing you
Dwayne,
correctly?
I think you are twisting my words a bit, you know. I said come and see. I
Come
didn't
and
make
see.
any promises.
All right, all
Come and
right.
see.
All right. But thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sharing this event with this space in Tobago and here with us at Tobago Updates. It was a pleasure having you. And I wish you all the best and success in all your future endeavors in relation to your event. Guys, this brings us to the end of this interview this morning. I want to thank you guys for joining us. And remember to please share the live, share the live, share the live. We have more for you with Mr. Luke James Trim.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
I'ma play some tune like this.
Don't worry, my wife will fuck it up. Make me happy whenever you fuck it. So me make you very hard. Fiesta, fun.
This one is for the people and them who don't care what nobody else have to say about them.
Them not no cash. Broke where you have, where you know about.
It's too early for that.
You want the good all. They do, but then enough line. Girl, go the club, girl, right. Nice.
Who's the one friend can drink all the alcohol no matter what?
Put a bottle and spoon and a cup in my hand and a winding up on me man.
Dream.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it. Welcome to my kitchen, guys. You have to stop it every night. That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates morning show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. This is Dwayne Nurse, yours truly, your favorite youth host. And this morning, we want to take the discussion to a more serious yet pertinent discussion this morning and to discuss about crime. We have heard from the TTPS, we have heard from the Prime Minister, we have heard from our Honorable Chief Secretary, and we want to have a youthful perspective on this grave matter that is affecting our space here in Tobago. And this morning to have this discussion, we have none other than Mr. Luke Trim, CARICOM Youth Ambassador here in our space, and we want to welcome him this morning. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dwayne, and good morning to Tobago. I'm so excited to be a part of this interview this morning.
Are you excited?
Very excited.
Very excited. I hope that is not sarcasm, you know.
you know I'm not a sarcastic person.
You're not? Okay, all right, no problem, Mr. Trim. So, crime, you know, you and I both know that you know the theories on crime is that it's a necessary evil. However, when it boils down to the practicality of it, how it affects our space, especially from a youthful perspective, what are your thoughts, especially where Tobago is concerned?
Well, Dwayne, like I would have said yesterday when I gave the comment on Johnny's news piece, when we're in university and we're chatting and bantering with our friends and we're having the Little Trinidad versus Tobago type debate, the argument that we always put forward that makes us win is that Tobago is safe. It's a type of island. You can leave your car unlocked and don't have to worry. You can leave your house door open and you don't have to worry about nobody running in to come and rob you. But like I said, in recent times, what we have been seeing, it somewhat contradicts that argument that we usually put forth. Now, Dwayne, when we look at the heads of state and the decision makers, one solution they always put forward is to implement policy and put forward strategies to get young people out of crime or prevent them from getting into crime. But if we are to take a more serious analysis on that strategy, Dwayne, there is a huge difference between making policy for the youth and making policy with the youth. Because what we oftentimes see, Dwayne, is that they will create these policies, they will create these strategies and then bring young people in after the fact to defend the point that, yes, this was something that had a youth input. This is something that was youth-centered, when in reality, that is not the case. And that is why we are seeing that many of these things they put forward is not really effective. It doesn't have the impact because, like I said, it was not made with the youth. It was just made for the youth. So that is one perspective I have when it comes to battling crime, especially where the youth is concerned.
Right, and you said quite a lot there, Mr. Truman. If I heard you correctly, you're saying that the essence of Tobago's safetiness and serenity is we're losing it. And secondly, that when it comes to making policy to mitigate crime, the youth it is not a youth-centric. There's not a youth-centric approach to it. Kindly tell us, what does a youth-centric policy making and law making looks like for mitigating crime? How do you see it from where you sit as a student, as a son of the soil, and as an ambassador for youth?
Okay, Dwayne. So firstly, in the youth space, we are all somewhat connected. So let's say, for example, we're on the news and we see that something was implemented for youth and crime and so on. We will simply call each other and we will ask the questions. Were you a part of this? Were you aware of this? And then we will get the responses such as, well, they called me after the policy was formed just to get my opinion. And now they are branding and marketing it such as, youth was such a huge part of this decision. But Dwayne, if we are to, really implement policy and strategies that are to benefit the youth, firstly, we want to see that people who are youth are sitting at the table, that they are at the decision-making table. And we're not just talking about the youth who are holding youth positions, leadership positions. We want them to go into these somewhat marginalized communities and speak to the everyday youth that go through what we don't usually go through, Dwayne. Because, you and I are privileged from some of the hardships that young people who live in these communities go through. But if you are to make policies and strategies to benefit them, we want to see them sitting at the table. We want to see you collaborating with them, understanding their stories, understanding where they are coming from. And from that, we can create strategies and policies that can help to mitigate what they are going through. But like I said earlier, we are not seeing that. It appears as though it is happening, but in reality, it is not happening. Young people, we understand that if we really want to stop this pattern of crime, it starts with the youth. But there's only so much we can do, Dwayne. We have to build that meaningful bridge and connection with the decision makers. We have to make sure that all aspects and backgrounds of youth are represented. We also need to ensure that when these things are being implemented and they're being executed, that it is evidence-based and it's not based on what you feel or what you think will work or what you think is politically correct or is going to look and sound good in the media. We have to really do the groundwork. We have to really go down and include people who are going through the things that we don't go through doing. And I think when we start there, that is when we can see some sort of change happening in the youth space. And if we can have that impact in the youth space, maybe it will trickle down into the wider society.
Right. I want to thank you for that, Luke, because you said something that is very profound there, which is we oftentimes place emphasis on those who are law-abiding and who have a certain semblance of status and education, and we kind of marginalize those who might be more prone to the lifestyle that can redound to crime or a life of crime. And I want to ask you on that premise. We see a lot of national and local programs, community football. We see a lot of things. Do you believe that these things are effective, and do you think that they're revolutionary in terms of meeting these set persons who might have a more tangible experience being exposed or pre-exposed to a life of crime? What are your thoughts?
Well, Dwayne, the old saying is that the devil finds wood for idle hands to do. And if we are to look at young people, we like to be included. When you have programs and initiatives that includes us, and we are able to, network with people who will ensure that we don't fall down or go down the wrong path, that in itself, Dwayne, it is a plus, it is something positive. But like I said, when you look at some of these strategies, the youth that are included are not necessarily those who are facing the challenges where crime is concerned. I however want to thank the Ministry for Youth Development and National Service. They have this initiative called Youth Talk, where they are going to these communities such as Laventille and Belmont, and they bring out the young men and have the conversations with them. I understand that Minister Shamfa Kudju, Honorable Shamfa Kudju, she has the Empower, and it starts there. But like I said, we want to see everybody being included. It's good to have the conversations, but when it comes to actually the decision making on a higher political platform, people like myself, people like you, although we may have that level of education, we may have that level of consciousness, we wouldn't be able to relate to what they are facing. We wouldn't be able to relate of how it feels to be in a community where gunshots will be ringing out in the night time, where your uncle or your brother, they live in a life of crime. We may not be able to relate to that. But it's only until you get those people sitting down with you, doing, and you include them and you make them feel seen, make them feel heard, and take actionable steps to ensure that what they are going through stops there. That is when we can see greater impact. That is just my opinion, doing. So I don't want anyone to quote me. I don't want anyone to quote me on that, but
and it's fine to quote you, Luke. It's fine to quote you, Luke, because let's make it more practical. We see a lot of ads about crime fighting, true crime stoppers, and so on. Report a crime. Anytime you see a crime, children watch the TV. Children do tune into news, so they are quite adept with what is happening to a degree, right? However, is it practical to report a crime if my father is his sole breadwinner, selling, let's say marijuana, or he has a illegal firearm, or he must kill somebody? When he is my hero, he's what I know. how do we tackle those realities? How do we tackle the reality where you live in a single parent home, the father is in jail, and the young man is acting out in school because the father is absent, mother's fighting up. He had to get troubles because he had to find a way to exert his hurt of an absent father. How do we tackle these challenges? And when we read the theories on crime, these things can redound to crime. These are some of the root causes of crime. Do you believe that the some of the initiatives, even locally and at the ministry level, are adequately addressing these practical issues? When we read the budget and when we hear about constitutional reform, do you believe that the epicenter of these discussions are meeting the people? Because the truth is, look, politicians are what create policy, the carrion or the consensus is that they only come to my door when they need my vote. But do you believe that adequate emphasis is placed to mitigate these corners? These are corners and crevices that for a very long time that have not been touched. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so Dwayne, you addressed a greater societal issue when you touched on, how they view their breadwinners. Because, okay, we know that the societal norm is that you need to go to high school, you need to get a certain amount of subjects, get a government job, and everything will be okay. But for the youth that come from these types of communities, Dwayne, it is very rare that they will acquire the necessary amount of CXC subjects to get a government job. And people are aware of that. We are aware of that because of what they go through. They may not have the finances. They may not have the safe space at home to have that mental capacity to, thrive in academics. So we will see that people from those communities, they may not have the societal norm of a complete CXC certificate. Okay. So when they want to seek employment, they can't seek employment because they are not qualified. 2, 3, so when they realize, okay, I'm not fitting into society, I can't get a job, I'm not good enough, what are they going to do? They are still young and they have to survive and money have to make. And when you look at what we went through during COVID, doing, I know as a young person, you would have realized that when so many young persons lost their jobs, things like scamming became normalized. It became something that was trending. Okay, you can't make money, well, you have to turn to crime. Well, scamming it may not sound as a serious crime, it may not sound as murder or robbing or robbing at gunpoint. It was normalized, it was popularized. So then now we hear it in the music, it's scamming. It became something that young people turn to, those who didn't have necessary subjects. But Dwayne, like you said, when it comes to policymakers and so on, and whether or not it is effective, I have to be very diplomatic with this response. Hold on, let me think before I speak. I think that politicians need to take a greater step to not only represent their supporters, but also those who are quiet within the community. Because you realize those who are going through these pressures and feel somewhat as though, okay, I have been going through this for years, nobody cares about me and my voice does not matter. I think they need to reach out and enter the ground to really touch base with these people. Because Dwayne, I know you will have the experience. Most of these people that are going through the hardships, they are very silent about it. When you speak about them, they will always say something, well, is yes, I living like this and nobody ain't helping me, so I will help myself. Correct. I think we need to start there from a political point of view. Again, that's my opinion. Nobody quote me on that, please. And all in all, it all comes down to inclusivity. If we are to make policies and strategies to benefit people who come from those backgrounds, then they need to be a part of the conversations. They need to be sitting at the table, and that is where we can see some type of impact and some type of change.
All right, thank you very much, Luke, and that I would take as your closing comment. But I would just say this as well. It is high time that we take a more pragmatic approach. It must be modern, right? It must be science driven, right? In terms of how we fight crime. We can't fight crime from a place of myopia and a place of insanity. And insanity, by definition, is doing the same thing and expecting the same results. However, I do apologize if I sound indignant, but that it is what it is, right? It is high time that we take the bull by the horn, and the bull by the horn doesn't necessarily mean that we become draconian and authoritative and overly aggressive and overexertive in terms of our powers, but we must.
Yeah, because we don't want it to turn into something doing where we shift to our society that's led by dictatorship and fear.
Correct.
We don't
Correct.
want it to become that under the guise of combating crime.
Correct.
So yes, I agree with your comment.
All right, good. So guys, Mr. Trim, it's always a pleasure. I think we should continue these conversations. It's very pertinent. Guys, this brings us to the end of our interview this morning. Luke, you, being a host, you're still a host with us. We had to tell him to do one thing. Remember to share the live.
Share the live. Share the
Share the
live.
live. Share the live. Have a great day, guys, and be safe.
Welcome to Tobago Heritage, the Tobago Old Time Wedding happening right now at the beautiful community of Mariah, Tobago.
It's something that I've been waiting for from since last year, and trust me, this year they have improved.
It's coming like not only a heritage, but like a harvest, where everybody enjoying themselves, and people could take part in the bush back. You know what I mean?
The experience has been wonderful. The weather has been quite faithful to us this evening. The evening is pretty warm, and thus far we are having a wonderful experience.
Nice vibes, nice energy, and I just love this place.
First experience at the Mariah Old Time Wedding, and it has been fantastic, very electrifying. It's good to see the people out in the numbers, and the rain didn't really hinder the festivities. You know, rain only stopped crickets.
I like to see the old time wedding, but what I find is that when they came from the church, the way the crowd was trying to get to see them, they should try and organize something on the street with bleachers or something for the people to sit down and get to see them better, because you couldn't see them so good because everybody run into videotape and take pictures.
The festival has been very exciting. This is our culture, and I believe that the Mariah Old Time Wedding is the crowning glory of our heritage. It's very rich, and it has gained international recognition for very long, and we need to do more to push it forward.
This is my first time ever at the Mariah Heritage. I usually watch it on TV, but my aunt decided to bring me out today, and I must say it's a really nice experience. The church service was very interesting. I really like the Mako lady on the outside. Very funny. I'm really looking forward to the stage production.
My heart is filled with joy to see my son, Cleophas, marry such a geophysically beautiful woman.
Say you said the man get all kind of thing home by you for the wedding. Of course. If me Pitney I get married and people bring things for me, the right thing to do is to give it to the wedding. Come let me show you something. Where you get this? Below you so house. Me house? You house. So who house again? When me look out of me window before cock crow, as straight as you house me I see.
All this time, you keeping all the food below your house? Below your house still?
I want to be concentrated for all the load that thought to come down here. I would like piece of pork, please.
You do wrong, but we can't live so. Yeah. I forgive you, right?
Accept it. Accept it.
And I forgive you and your brother. And I want all to take part in it. Till you the pig on. Till you mean all the thief the pig?
All you?
Me not take all the thief the pig?
Me the right eye eyesight all the time. You gonna tell me thief pig?
You thief the cake too?
The cake?
The cake too? I'm gonna forgive you, you know. But listen, all you come and do the grand change, eh?
Me no know nothing but that.
Till you are done. I'm done. I hope I'll choke.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
We love Tobago Carnival! Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, we're right here. We're not leaving till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, is rhythm, steel and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real titans of soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free, and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's discussions, let's have our news in 90 seconds. The Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development has officially opened the Shervan Storbay Local Road Connector Road and Roundabout. The event honored local workers for their skill and dedication, with Managing Director Charles C. Charan recognizing their hard work. THA Chief Secretary Fali Augustine confirmed that no Trinidadian contractors were paid for the project. The roundabout was named after the late James Bigat and Dr. Jefferson Davidson, while a street was named after Pamela Nicholson, the first woman representative for Tobago in the Parliament, who expressed her gratitude for the honor. Additionally, Secretary of Tourism, Culture and Antiquities and Transportation, Tashia Boris, declared 2024 Tobago Heritage Festival a success, emphasizing participation of many returning communities and the festival's immersive experience. The month-long event, a first in its 37-year history, operated on a minimal of $4.9 million budget. Boris acknowledged criticisms but praised the planning team's effort and highlighted the importance of community involvement. And finally, Progressive Democratic Patriots leader Watson Duke criticized Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Chief Secretary Fali Augustine for Tobago's crime situation, suggesting they should fire themselves. Duke specifically blamed Dr. Rowley, head of the National Security Council, and accused Augustine of failing to take action despite meeting with the council to address crime. He described both leaders as playboys and argued that the country needs real leaders who can effectively tackle crime. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Now, in this morning's discussion, we're going to touch a bit on the crime situation in Tobago because as it escalates, it's one that we cannot ignore. But there's so much more happening in the Tobago space that we can discuss this morning. And to have that interesting conversation with me, I have the pleasure of sitting in studio with the minority leader, Mr. Kelvon Morris, who's also the area representative for Darrell Spring WIM. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel. Good morning, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and to all your viewers locked on social media.
Now, it's a pleasure to have you in this morning, and there's so much happening, but we want to start off with crime. It's something that we definitely cannot ignore. We've seen an escalation in the crime rate, one that we have not seen, especially in such a short time frame on the island of Tobago. How has this been impacting the comfort and the stability within your own district? I mean, it's Tobago wide, but obviously you're on the ground in your area and you're hearing what the people are saying. You know, how has it been affecting the people that you have been interacting with?
Well, let me firstly express my deepest condolences to all the families, friends of the 19 victims who have lost their lives in Tobago thus far. No, it's some kind of cliche, but one murder is one murder too many in Tobago. And therefore, even in the community of the electoral district Darrell Spring WIM, we are deeply concerned. There's a sense of serious concern, and even to the point where people are literally afraid. At this point in time, this is unprecedented in Tobago space. We have always been known to be, as we branded Tobago, clean, green, safe, and serene. And therefore, Tobago, whereas you had a number of murders and high crime in Trinidad, Tobago was always seen as that safe space. And unfortunately, if we are to be quite honest, we are not quite that safe space as we used to be.
Right. And you see a bit of a panic happening after specifically the last murder that took place, because it has been speculated by many that the young woman who was killed in Argyle, Lamy Road, known as Dolly Boss, was a part of some gang-related activities that stem from the rivalry between the 6 and 7 gang. So a lot of persons are, currently awaiting some sort of, recourse on the side of whatever gang she was associated with. And now you see a lot of social media conversation happening. You even see messages circulating on WhatsApp, stating that Tobagonians should be safe and, stay off the roads and all of that, because a huge retaliation is expected very soon. What do you think we can do within the communities to really, bring comfort to the people at this time and not create a certain level of hysteria?
Well, firstly, one of the greatest concerns for me is the fact that there's a proliferation of guns. It just seems that people are getting, especially high-powered guns, so easily. And of course, yes, we've heard the number of messages going wrong, and that is creating a heightened sense of fear in the space. And it therefore tells me that we have challenges with our borders. That is one, because it means the guns are getting here some way and somehow, and perhaps through legitimate and illegitimate means. Therefore, we have to try to treat with that response. We need to get those guns out of the hands of these people who, in their hands, it becomes a weapon of mass destruction. And we've seen it in different communities where they come, they spray down blocks, and we saw it happen in Blackrock. And therefore, we really need one, perhaps, I know a number of places they've tried it, gun amnesty, whether it would work in this space, whether people are willing to give up their guns. But we need to find a way to get the guns out of the hands of some of these young men, especially these gangs. And then we have to break up the gangs as well. Because in Tobago, if we are to be honest again, in different pockets of the communities, a number of our young persons are getting involved in this gang warfare, and they're being influenced perhaps by people outside, but they are allowing them to come in, they are harboring them, and then they too are getting involved in the activities, and it is creating a number of different spin-off criminal violence in both in the communities and outside the community. So we need to treat with that those gangs that are coming up. It also means that we as Tobago, as the Tobago House of Assembly especially, we cannot divorce ourselves from what is happening. We cannot just simply say that crime, well, is a 6th schedule item, and we, in terms of national security, is a 6th schedule item, and then we have absolutely no part to play. I do not subscribe to that. In fact, we've always learned that prevention is better than cure, and therefore most of the preventative mechanisms are within the remit of the Tobago House of Assembly. If we look in our schools, the criminal doesn't just get up one morning and become a criminal. You see it in certain behavior traits, both at home, in the communities, and in the schools. And we, as the Tobago House of Assembly, and I keep on saying we, because the Tobago House of Assembly is both the executive and those in the legislative arrangement. And therefore, we as the Tobago House of Assembly got to understand our role in this crime fighting and treat with the areas where we can impact. So the social areas, the community areas, the sporting areas, the educational areas, we ought to take control of those and ensure that the young people that we are conditioning are minded persons, that we reduce the opportunity for them engaging in the gang violence as I previously described, and as well as engaging in things that are just not good for the island.
Right. And, there's some aspects of crime that you really cannot predict. Yeah, no one can wake up and say, what, I think today someone is going to shoot up a block somewhere. So I think that one of the best type of strategies is to ensure that criminals are captured, because that in itself becomes a deterrent for future crime. So when it comes to creating legislation to fight against crime, what do you think about ideas that revolve around, some of the crime fighting strategies that include, the strategic placement of cameras on persons' homes and stuff like that? One of the suggestions that I would have made in the past is to create a tax exemption for persons who buy cameras, so that they can put it on their tax when they file for their taxes at the end of the year. If you bought a Ring camera, or if you bought any type of surveillance equipment that also, faces the public roads or anything like that. Or, even just when it comes to import, reducing import taxes on certain surveillance equipment. But then again, there's also the opposite side to that, where someone might say, well, remember in Trinidad very recently, we saw that the criminals were placing, monitoring devices
using that opportunity. And
on the light poles. So how do we strike a balance with that?
So for me, the surveillance, the leadership in terms of surveillance got to come from the level of the state. And in this instance, I'm saying that I continue to say, you see, we have to take responsibility for our security. You cannot leave it up to others to say that they would take care of they would secure us. And therefore, what we can do in this space, we should attempt to do. And Tobago is about 116 square miles and a population of about 60,000 people. And I do not think it is difficult for us to have eyes in the sky, that is your surveillance, putting up the necessary, so as to ensure that even when a crime is committed, the likelihood of us capturing and being able to track the perpetrators becomes even greater. Because one of the things that is driving this whole criminal empire that is going on is that people believe that even if I commit a crime, the likelihood of me getting caught is quite low. Look what happened in Lamy Road there. As far as I understand, persons came, shoot up the place, drove quite a distance, and we are least aware as to where they ended up. What is the surveillance mechanism? We have all kind of technology at this time. What about drone technology? How do you see it in places abroad where they are able to, from the time a crime is committed and that response kicks in, you are able to track at the movement of those perpetrators, and so they are caught. We are at a situation now where you have to perhaps give consideration to how do you now treat with the people who are coming into the space, cooling down, but also creating problems for us. Because when you look at what is being said in terms of that last incident, these persons aren't necessarily Tobagonians, but they were being harbored or encouraged to stay by Tobagonians. And it means, therefore, that there's an intermingling and commingling that we also need to treat with. Why are we, as Tobagonians, harboring known gang members?
I think, no, I don't want to make any assumptions that could, hold me to anything. But when it comes to gangs, whether you are from the US or the UK or from Canada, as long as you associate with the same gang, we are all brothers and sisters. So I could understand why, if I am associated with a particular gang, that if a gang member from another branch comes over, then I am supposed to embrace them. And so I think that what we should be doing is to try to really, as you indicated, deter young Tobagonians from entering into that type of gang lifestyle. And what is crazy is it's really young, sensible individuals who are partaking in it. You're thinking is persons who come from a bad household, don't have mothers, don't have fathers around, don't have any type of economic resources as they grow up, and you would be shocked to know that proper household, your cousin, somebody from right down the street, they just see it on social media, on TikTok, and it looks cool, to throw up 2 gang signals, and before you know it, they're being recruited.
And that is why, this fight has to be a Tobago fight. It has to be an all of us in this fight. And, because we are such a small community and everybody, in some way, we are all connected. We at times we know, if we're to be some of us, we know the people who are involved, but because it might be a cousin, a neighbor, or friend, we become afraid to give the information. And more when we hold back, eventually it comes right to our doorsteps. And in going forward, if we want to change this culture of violence, we got to all become partners in this fight against the criminal elements, whether it be friend or foe.
Right. And I think one of the fears that continue to pervade the Tobago society right now is not necessarily for those who are a part of it or involved in anything, but persons are just afraid of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, recently, when the upsurge in crime began, we saw that the Prime Minister himself came over to Tobago. He brought the entire National Security Council with him, and he had that discussion with the Chief Secretary, and they came up with a number of strategies to combat crime. We even saw that there has been the introduction of the Guard and Emergency Branch here in Tobago. But unfortunately, that has not seen a reduction in crime efforts. How do you feel about some of the strategies that had been implemented, and where do you think we go from here in terms of, the conversation has already been had, strategies been put in place, but still?
Well, I think the conversation sometimes get misplaced because one, we make the conversation one about politics and then about the other police. And I think crime at the very root of it is beyond policing. It speaks to a type of person. It speaks to a type of society. It speaks to a type of environment. And therefore, if we are to treat with crime, it has to be an all of society, all of Tobago approach, all of THA. And we have to look. What we need to do is sit down strategically and look at how every element of what we do here in Tobago can impact crime and criminality and those persons who are more likely to get themselves involved. So because crime is a social problem, and I've always said it requires a social response, but that response has to be rooted in education. That's to be rooted in how you mobilize your community. It has to be rooted in how you treat with your allocation of resources, and it also comes down ultimately to leadership. And therefore, so it cannot be as simply ascribing blame to the police, because I've listened to some of to the Chief Secretary, and it seems to me that he's simply saying the police isn't doing enough, and that there's room for that argument, but we cannot simply leave crime up to a situation where it's about the police and the army and not taking responsibility for the areas that we can impact as a government.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon, guys.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it, everyone.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books and shoes.
Javel,
Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
Like this.
Don't worry, my wife will fuck it up. Make me happy whenever you fuck it. So me bring you very hard, fiesta, fun.
This one is for the people and them who don't care what nobody else have to say about them.
Them none of cash, what you have, what you know about.
It's too early for that.
Too early, good all. They do, but then enough, nine. Girl, go to club, girl, right. Nice.
Who's the one friend can drink all the alcohol no matter what?
Put a bottle and spoon and a cup in my hand and a winding up on me man.
Dream.
Pamstar Promotions and Charns Bookstores are happy to bring the 2024 New Wave Maths Championships to Lowlands Mall, 8th to 10th August. Participants must be between ages 9 to 12 years. Lots of prizes to be won. To register, call 471-2604. For the best prices on school books, WhatsApp 471-2604 or 371-4824. 3 lucky students will win their book list for free.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I have been having the pleasure of chatting with the minority leader, Kelvon Morris, on the crime situation that we've seen escalating on the island of Tobago. Now, we chatted a bit before the break, but what I want to find out from you, do you think that the central government can do a bit more when it comes to crime and crime intervention in Tobago? Specifically, when we look at the fact that we saw a cohort of licensing officers coming up last week to Tobago and, making their presence felt to the point where you saw that the streets were empty at particular times. So people were on their P's and Q's, as we would say. Do you think that same level of energy, can be placed towards fighting crime in Tobago?
Well, what that tells me is that if there's a level of continuous and sustained presence, then we can in fact suppress the criminal elements in our society. And you see, for me, I prefer that focus be placed where the criminals reside. So I would like to see the security forces put the criminals on the run, keep them busy, keep them uneasy, it shouldn't be Peter shouldn't be paying for Paul, but it should be really the focus should be intelligence led and based, and therefore, but you see that sustained kind of presence, criminals must not find an easy place in Tobago, and a criminal in Trinidad must not feel comfortable in saying I can come to Tobago to hide out or to cool off. We must take the fight to the criminals. And, I know in Tobago, because we have opposing political elements leading in central government, and then you have another party leading in Tobago, there's a sort of divide as this is central government and this is Tobago. At the end of the day, what we require is the collaboration to make Trinidad and Tobago a safer space. And therefore, wherever the central government can do more, they should. And wherever the Tobago House of Assembly can do more, they also should. And where the resources can be combined to ensure we have a sort of response to make all of us feel safe, it should also be encouraged. This conversation, too many times we find ourselves fighting the wrong fight, where we are fighting one against the other, when the real enemy is those criminals that are making all of us uncomfortable in both in our homes and even in our minds.
I'm glad that you touched on that. That is so important, because we hear time and time again this current THA administration talking about how limited their resources are. And then you see at the central government level, it almost looks like there's no issue when it comes to money. One of those situations has to do with the Minister for Housing, Camille Robinson Regis. She came to Tobago recently, gave out those grants at Shaw Park, and then you hear the THA struggling to have that money to give out their grants, and that particular line item that was removed from the budget request when it was sent down to Trinidad had now come from the central government, come to Tobago to distribute grants. So there is that kind of, distance in who is able to give what, when really and truly it is the Tobagonians who will, i.e., lose out or really gain or benefit. So are you in a position where you can now be advocating along with your colleagues, like the MP for Tobago East and for Tobago West, to ensure that Tobago really gets what Tobago deserves? Specifically, there was a situation with the IADB and that project in Riseland where the ministry had indicated that they would put in the request for the loan to come from IADB so that that project can continue and all the public utilities could be put in place so that individuals can move in.
Right.
And then the THA came to find out that that request was never made. So what role can you play along with your colleagues to ensure that the resources are given to Tobago?
Well, I do not want to speak on matters to which I do not have the facts. So I would rather have the facts, because a story might be told one way when in fact when you get the information it is not. But what I can speak to is what I know. So the THA and the facts are there. During this current administration would have received increased allocations year on year. And the THA, unlike other ministries, they receive basically the allocation as a lump sum, and you can appropriate according to your priorities. So therefore, if you believe that social housing and giving support to home improvement is one of those areas that you want to treat with, you appropriate accordingly. There are national programs, however, for example, self-help, etc. So Tobagonians, we are really in a fortunate position because sometimes we get two bites at the cherry. So the division of settlements would have home improvement programs, and there would be national programs where you as a Tobagonian can also apply, participate, and be given a grant. And therefore, what we would have seen is a central government making allocation, facilitating the Tobago request. And because the Tobago request was facilitated in such a way where you had a number of persons being given grant, rather than having 40 or 50 Tobagonians have to spend $400 to go to Trinidad, the ministry came to Tobago to do that distribution. And distributions of that nature is not uncommon. Self-help do it quite frequently as well. But in terms of the allocation, as I said before, it does not debar because I recall the former secretaries of settlement would always tell you they have never really gotten the allocation they have wanted to treat with Tobago home improvement. There's always been that challenge, and therefore you have to be kind of creative in how you reappropriate your funding to ensure that you can deliver. And so it is all about, in this instance, about how you treat with priorities. I've always told my colleagues, however, in the Tobago House of Assembly, based on the current construct, because it doesn't make sense. Yet, well, you can complain. Of course, it allows you to complain. It allows you to always push for more. But the way how the current THA Act is constructed, you're restricted in terms of that lower limit and upper limit. And whatever you get, it is within the dispute resolution. They are within the law in terms of giving you, whether they choose to give you the lower end or the higher end. And for time immemorial, it has always been about the lower end. So what you can do, what is wise is areas where you can get the collaboration. You use that, so it allows you to use what you have for other things. For example, commendation, we have just opened up a roundabout. But I've said to Tobagonians, that same project was a project conceptualized by the government as part of the ANR airport terminal expansion. And what it was envisioned is that they would create a first-class road that would take you from Cove all the way down to the new terminal. And whatever the cost, that cost would have been borne by the central government. What we have in reverse is the THA, who already is cash-strapped, as if for better word, or restricted in funding, deciding that I would forego the central government's participation in this project. I would do it on my own. But it now means that you are suppressing something else. Something else has to be foregone. The opportunity cost, you have to give up. So maybe that $70 million, where some of it could have gone to housing and etc., that 70 million or now 100 million or so has now gone to that project. And so when you're in governance, it's all about how you prioritize your funding, how you utilize your funding. And in this situation, whereas the project is a good project, we could have had an arrangement where we benefited in a better way by partnering with the central government, allowing them to utilize funding from the central government, and we keep our funds to do other things.
Right. And have you been in a position where you have any influence on promoting that level of collaboration?
Well, it is always about the encouragement. I can say from the side of the government and the relationship I have with the members of the cabinet, they are willing to collaborate. They are always willing to treat and to partner with the Tobago House of Assembly. And we see it in a number of different ways. You're seeing it right now with the Ministry of Youth Development and the Division of
Sport.
You've seen I Choose Sport, you've seen the Homestead Agriculture Youth Program where they're partnering. So they are always willing, and there's a lot to benefit Tobago. I would share with you one example of how Tobago has missed out. There was a project already, just as we're talking about IDB, that Scarborough Esplanade Enhancement Project, where it was earmarked that a certain amount of funding was already approved, so we could have dealt with the upgrade of the Esplanade, put in boardwalk, putting and install underground utility corridor. So all those lines that you're seeing, and that issue we have all uptown where we cannot access uptown now because lines have been pulled down. Those lines would go underground and so forth. And the Secretary of Infrastructure decided that he wanted to take a different course with the project, that is to treat with, because he had his very ambitious Scarborough redevelopment plan, and he wanted to perhaps utilize the funding in a different way. But you will remember this funding has already been approved for a specific project by the IDB, and I know you are familiar with international funding and how that goes. And what that would have happened, because the deadline was missed, that funding basically went back in a real sense, and you now have to start back the process if you want to get new funding. So it is all about how we treat with collaboration, and I am encouraged. I keep using the word collaboration because we are still Trinidad and Tobago, and yes, I know we want to be our own man. We want to feel like we are doing our own thing and doing it our own way. But there's still within the relationship a number of benefits when we partner and when we collaborate.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. So see you soon, guys.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and
Kingsway Ministries International presents Shiloh Fest 2024, Demolishing Limitations, Building Destiny, from August 7th to 11th. Powerful ministers include Bishop David Ibelami, Pastor Anthony Clark, Pastor Ayo Ajim, and host pastor Bishop Ayatunde Akindele.
Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I called you into something. I anointed you to be able to get some things done. But you must see it.
What God has already said yes to, He cannot turn around and say no to.
It is not that the weapons will not be formed. It is that the weapons, though are formed, they will not prosper.
God wants to take you to that level this year where you deal with the limitations and get the actual result that God has for you.
Shiloh Fest 2024 happens from August 7th to 11th at Victory Outreach Church, Scarborough, Tobago. For more information, contact 391-0078 or 354-8654. Shiloh Fest 2024, Demolishing Limitations, Building Destiny. See you at Shiloh Fest.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
said I'm falling, falling, I'm falling. As I lay in my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it. Carnival, come back to me, cause you know you're my healing. I said this okay is my therapy, therapy, my therapy. It take away all of my anxiety, anxiety, my remedy. I tell you that we all need love. Jump up and show me love, wind up and show me love.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. We continue our conversations here with the minority leader, Kelvon Morris, and we saw recently that the Tobago Heritage Festival was wrapped up, and the Secretary for Tourism, Tashia Burris, she gave her concluding remarks, stating that she believed that the festival was an immense success with a budget of only $4.9 million as opposed to the exorbitant amounts that has been put towards the festival in the past. Do you have any comments on how you think this year's rendition of the Heritage Festival being over 1 month, including some new villages? I mean, I don't think we saw WIM
We'll be back next
participating
year.
this year, but you know, a number of villages who we had not seen for a very long time. For instance, you know, Roxborough came out this year. They had an excellent immersive street parade presentation on, and so we see a lot of other communities who had previously been, you know, in the background stepping forward. How do you feel about this year's
Well, for
rendition?
me, you know, I heard the secretary saying that it was a success. I would firstly ask her, you know, I believe you should evaluate performance by measurement. So one, you ought to first outline what are your targets, what were you trying to achieve, and then determine to what extent did you achieve those things, and then we can say whether, well, it was success. And so we have to go beyond just simply the rhetoric. I mean, any effort I would always applaud. I would not knock down my people, because it meant that persons would have prepared, people have put their heart and soul into it, and therefore there's always room for improvement. Yes, we saw some returning villages such as Roxborough, I think Monks in George as well. But then we also had the exclusion of some of our big guns like Lekoto and Pembroke, etc. I understand that we will be coming back next year with the Wake and Bongo. I really look forward to that. But the point is, ultimately we have to understand, why do we do these things, these festivals? What are we trying to achieve? What is the purpose? And if we are saying festivals is one of those pillars towards our tourism trust, then how do we create an immersive experience to the point that people would want to come and participate? And I really want to commend, you know, sometimes we tend to focus on the messenger and not the message, but I want to commend the young, I think, Shanaria Taylor, yeah.
Who is the daughter of Jesse Taylor.
She really would have, she was on point in her assessment as to what we need to do to build out not just the carnival but our other festivals and make it something that can really derive serious, because at the end of the day you really want to make sure wherever you invest, whether it is 4.5 million or 10 million, that the benefits accrue go beyond that, and the people who are involved are able to say that they got some kind of lucrative return on their investment. So I also want to say as well, Tobago, we have talented young people especially, and we need to utilize those talents. Let us not be so myopic in placing people in boxes and believing that we would only utilize those people who are singing from the same hymn book. We don't all have to agree on even the politics, but we can agree on what is to build Tobago, and we utilize people, we utilize the talents where they lie and what they can do. And this is what I would want to see as we build out Tobago, allowing our young people especially to just be able to contribute. And because they want to contribute, I speak to them, I listen to them, I hear the passion in our young people in trying to bring what they are seeing in different places and making sure that we can really bring that to Tobago and improve what we have. So yes, the heritage, kudos to all the people who participated. I was so impressed with, I think it's young Clivia who sang that song. That song needs to be packaged, repackaged, and Miss Heritage Personality. And it was so impressive to see our young people there on show. And I think more and more, we just need to work with our young people to build our island.
And then we have the Tobago Carnival happening in October. You touched a bit on that with some of the conversations that are happening in the social media space, specifically a conversation that was started by Shanaria Taylor in regards to the potential of where the Tobago Carnival can go. When it comes to packaging Tobago for that festival and selling it, what do you think can be done, to create a product that has its unique identifiers?
Well, the thing is, we need to first sit down and identify what are our strengths, what are those things that make us strong, and what are those things that would stand out. And we be proud of it, and we sell. As you say, make sure we include it, and then package it and sell it to the world. And we must be able to, people must feel like they're tasting the best of Tobago when they come to our carnival. So whatever we have, we leverage to the world. So we have the nylon pool, we leverage that and ensure that whatever we do, we include that. Castara, as you go along the north coast, that is excellent for an experience, because you want people to be able to be driving along the north coast and be wowed at the views before as they go to an event and they leave an event. The food, the things we cook, and the things our provision, our crab and dumpling, how do we ensure that those things are infused in our events, that people taste the culinary? And then, because you see, what you're trying to do is, while you have people in your space, you give them little bite-sized bits and taste so that they would want to come back for something else. So if you call a culinary festival coming out from this experience, people, I was able to taste this and taste that. And if you're doing a festival now, I want to come back for that. If you're doing we have the goat, why can't we have some event where people could still be in a square and experience the crab and goat race right in the carnival? We have to be able to make sure that whatever we have, we give people a sort of bite-sized kind of taste of what we have to offer. And that is what I would really like to see. Of course, in the marketing and the promotion, we got to do better in terms of how we prepare. These events aren't secret. We know the dates, we know when it is coming, and it just seems as though we always playing catch up. And we are not as proactive, we usually reactive. We are waiting for people to book. We are waiting for people to say, I want to play mass. And I think we really need to get to a point where we are proactive in our marketing and promotion of our events. We have to be a little more creative in how we put together our packages. And I think we need to also be a bit more collaborative in how we so that you don't have 10 events happening at the same time. You have to be more collaborative in terms of even I support your event, you support mine. And we build upon each other rather than we fight amongst each other.
How do you feel about a number? I mean, even if we are going back to the conversation before, even if we are focusing on, utilizing festival tourism as a means of attracting that international tourist, we are seeing certain events being removed from the calendar. Specifically, I am not sure if there are any plans for having a Tobago Jazz Festival in 2025 from the conversations that I had last week with the secretary. What they are trying to do is move away from these events being totally, completely managed and funded by the THA, which is completely understandable, seeing that for a number of years it was not profitable. But how do you feel about the collaboration with private entities to allow Tobagonians to have the opportunity to manage those festivals on their own?
Just the term not profitable, and I think we view festivals and the role of the government, I believe, in a sort of misplaced view, because the government is always there as an enabler. And the reason why the government gets involved in certain activities is because it may not be as lucrative for others to do it and make a profit. So the government would put in some funding to ensure that the spin-off effect redounds to the benefit of others. So it means that once you invest or put in, let's say, $10 million into this activity, what it means that people have to come to Ireland, they have to stay somewhere, they will need transport, they will need food, they may even need to buy clothes, they may need to cut their hair, do their nails, do their hair, do their makeup. And what you are having is a ripple effect that the net multiplier is more than what you would have got out of it had you just leave it, had you not spent that $10 million. And therefore, to say simply that I'm not going to do this because I the government, not going to get back this, I think sometimes it's kind of short-sighted. Of course, if there's opportunity for, again, collaboration, and in this instance with private sector, you collaborate, but it doesn't mean that you kill the event by saying, I am just going to move out and not put something proper and sustainable in place. Because what would happen if a private promoter comes in the space, they try their hand at it and it don't work out, they just move away, and it means that eventually what you would get is a void. So you have to win. It has to be a process where you are getting less and less involved in terms of financial, while you get private sector more and more. So it has to be an incremental kind of movement. You don't just pull the plug, and leave everything to fall down flat. And that was my disappointment with the way we treated with the Jazz Festival, which is a staple event. And it has...
Specifically for members of the diaspora.
Exactly. The members of the diaspora look forward to coming home. We now have in the space, and for example, the Great Fete weekend, which was solely private sector, and this private sector promoter decided to move away, and now we have a clear void in a weekend that usually brought great economic activity to the island. And therefore we really need to relook that approach. And the question also I have to ask, and as I said, is about priority and management, because previous administrations were doing these activities with less funding. So the question I would continually challenge my colleagues to tell me is where are we doing, or what are we doing with those funding that we are now not utilizing for the benefit of the people in those? Because even when you have jazz, one of the things that we focused on previously is ensuring that we develop the arts, our creatives, those young upcoming singers and artists, drummers, everybody. So You will recall we used to have jazz on the waterfront, which was really that opportunity to showcase our raw Tobago talent. You think any private promoter is going to take their personal fund because they're looking for profit? So they would simply put their funds where they believe they would get a return. And it is up to, if we are serious about the creative sector, the orange economy, then the THA must automate that investment.
Excellent. And let's look at going back a bit to that roundabout, because you touched on it a bit, but we didn't really get into it. There's been naming happening there, and we saw that a few Tobago stalwarts or icons have been highlighted in that project, whereby we saw a street being named after Pamela Nicholson Boulevard, and we saw that there was the James Bigart as well as Mr. Jefferson Davidson, who were, really highlighted at the roundabout. How do you feel about that? Do you think that that's a great move towards highlighting some of the icons in Tobago, or do you think that the energy could have been placed somewhere else?
Well, the thing about it, a name is a name, but ultimately the legacy of that project is one rife in corruption. In fact, at this point in time, they continue to hide. I've requested through the Freedom of Information on a number of occasions, information on that project. How was the contractor procured? Or what it, even now we don't even know what is the cost. Imagine you're opening and commissioning something that you utilize Tobago people money, and we are none the wiser at what this really cost us. So what I see this as simply an attempt, a facade, because they know how proud of people we are, and once we see people that we respect and we look up to, then they believe that we would forget the sins of that project. But that project is one, even now is incomplete because of the way it was dealt and the manner in which the secretary went about improperly, without plans, impeding on people's property and all kind of thing, and we cannot yet get the full use of that roundabout, which was highway road, which was touted as an emergency road. We were told that that road should have been finished within a month, and it was to alleviate traffic or provide an alternative route along the Torbay local road as opposed to the Milford Road. And now we are seeing them touting this highway, this roundabout, as the project, when the roundabout is not the project. The project is the Shervan-Torbay Connector Road, and that road has not yet been delivered in the way they said they would deliver it. So we are proud of our Tobago people, proud of all of the persons so named. But at the end of the day, it does not take away from the concerns that still arise out of that project.
And now, as we wrap up this morning, we saw very recently that you submitted a claim to the integrity or complaint, sorry, to the Integrity Commission regarding the Secretary for the Division of Settlement, Public Utilities and Rural Development in regards to hiring in relation to the Rural Development Unit. Before we get into that, firstly tell us exactly what your complaint was about, because there are a lot of persons still don't understand. What is in the media is that it was something related to employment and, finances, which a lot of persons are probably thinking that maybe he stole some money from the division or whatever it is. So clarify exactly what the complaint was about.
So this had to do with basically, in layman term, the flouting of the HR processes in terms of how you engage persons in the Tobago House of Assembly. And what the complaint is, once you set the rule, you ought to follow the rule. And what we recognize in this situation is that not me, Kelvon, but the HR people and the administrator, through a memo to the secretary, was raising questions as to how persons were engaged. So it is the public officers who understand what the process is saying to the secretary, in this instance, the process perhaps was not followed, and we need to follow it as not to bring the division into public disrepute and odium. So, and this is what the crux of the matter is. A new unit was created in the Division of Settlements, the Department of Rural Development. So you may have had persons existing on short term there before, but once you go to the point of awarding contracts, what is required is that you create the unit, and once you create the unit, you usually would advertise the position. So you allow for whether you advertise internally. Sometimes you can't justify what you're going to do, whether you would advertise internally, externally, but there must be some opportunity. And once you advertise, then you have your HR process where you interview. So there should be some kind of interview, and then of course you have your letter of offer. And what was key in this instance is that the administrator is saying there's nothing on the file to show that there was any advertisement, any interview, any letter of offer, any letter of acceptance, and not even an assumption date.
Right.
So that is the irregularities.
So are you saying that once a unit is established, that individuals cannot come on short term?
No. That's not my complaint. My complaint is simply saying that the rules, whatever was established for that unit, was not followed, and it appeared that the public officers were saying they weren't aware of the process.
But those individuals that currently work in the rural development unit are on short-term contracts. So how?
No. They would have been, and they moved from short-term. And this matter is a matter I don't want to go in too much.
Yes, because it's still being dealt with.
Yeah, because
but those persons are even still on short-term contracts.
No. But there's officers there with contracts. I can say that there's officers in the unit with contracts, and that is what the memo that was shared spoke specifically to I think it was the liaison officer who is on contract. They were on short term because the payment that they received on short term was different from the payment that they are now receiving on contract. And they were making, that is where you saw the questions about the financial arrangements and etc.
Right. But and when it comes to the financial part of the complaint that you submitted, to clarify, it had to do with the fact that the division had not had the appropriate allocation to sustain the new employment.
Right, and more than that, I'm sure you might be familiar when you're doing an executive council note, especially when it comes to anything treating with finances, you have to give the status of the vote. And part of the reason why you do that is to show that you have the ability to cover the cost of whatever you are now you're asking. And therefore, the reason why that was highlighted by the administrator is basically to ask the question, how did we get to the point of engaging these people on contract or justifying contract if we basically didn't have the allocation to fund the.
So is it a situation where, there has been the precedent where individuals come on short term and they perform on three consecutive short-term contracts, and then they are transferred to a contract?
So
that has been the precedent for a long time within the THA of bringing on employees within a short-term basis instead of going the longer route, which is to
So
go through the
we could have a because the good thing about short term is that I was part of a short term manpower audit, and we would have put in a system. I think it was 2019 or so, either 2018 under the Kelvin Charles, because yes, there were challenges with short term and how you treat with that, and the system was clear as to how you go. Therefore, going forward, how you deal with short term, what is short term, what is the process, and it was clear that you should not have that backlog again where you have people going on 3 and 4 short term. I think there was a process to help to clean that up and all that. But I'm saying ultimately, once the issue is, just as with procurement, once you create the rule and say, even in the note, this is how we're going to engage, you cannot then turn around and flout the very rule. So there's many ways to engage people in the THA. But once you say this is how it's going to be done, then you have to follow the rules, which also there's the contract guidelines, etc., that guide how those rules are established.
All right, thanks for clarifying that. And before we go this morning, are there any projects or plans from the Office of the Minority, or even from your district office, that we can expect coming on stream?
Well, sure, there's a lot. Well, you know, we just had our Sports and Family Day, which was a really, really excellent day, well subscribed. We had football, netball, cricket. It was a day of fun and enjoyment. We, of course, as the minority, we are going to have our prayer and Thanksgiving service, because we would have gone through a legislative period where we want to give God the thanks for his guidance through that period. And as we start the new legislative term, we want to go there with that spiritual covering. And we continue in the community to do our outreach. Well, you know, we are always on the ground, knocking doors and interacting with our residents. And we have our back to school drive. There's also going to come up during the Christmas period. We tend to focus on our children, so the children's street. And then we have also those outreach where we do hampers, etc. We want to do something especially for our seniors this year, so we are planning that. So it is a period of work, period of interactions, and a period of engagement.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming
Thank you for
this
having
morning
me.
and sitting and, you know, kind of giving us some of your opinions, specifically, you know, going in depth on where Tobago should be going in relation to crime, and you know, your opinion on the Tobago Heritage Festival and where that Tobago Carnival can go.
Just as a final note, so tomorrow, there's this a group of stakeholders, including, well, led by the Chief Secretary, and including myself as minority, would be meeting to have a discussion on crime at 10 a.m. So I also look forward to hearing from the security leadership in Tobago. What are some of their plans? What are some of the challenges? And seeing how I can also be part of that discussion.
So is this going to be a public conversation?
It's going to be closed door as far as I understand, but I think the time is right for us as Tobagonians to have an open, honest dialogue on crime.
So would you be having a press conference after that discussion? Or?
I will, yes, I will be addressing the media as to basically, and I'm not too sure, I don't want to preempt what is it. If there's a forum set for us to talk to the media together, I would engage in that. If not, I would also have my individual press conference.
All right. Well, thank you for making sure that we know that tomorrow at 10 a.m. there would be that stakeholder engagement that includes yourself and the Chief Secretary and a number of, you know, other persons to ensure that the way forward in fighting crime Tobago is a collaborative effort. I wish we had more time to talk about that Tobago Police Service and all of that, but hopefully you make yourself
I'm
available
always
for us
available.
to chat again. And we want to thank you, the audience, for being a part of such a live discussion. Thank you for adding your comments and for your likes and your shares and for just engaging other persons to join in and come see, come watch, come here. We appreciate it, right? And again, I want to thank you for all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. And I hope nothing but that you would have a great day. See you soon.
Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hit.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
We love Tobago Carnival! Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival right here. We're not leaving till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, it's rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
You're viewing Tobago